everybody. It is a 5-2 win. Sabres over the Canucks. Welcome to After the Horn. And of course, yours truly, Tom Wujak. We've also got Andy Van Meer from Buffalo After Dark joining us tonight. So he's just coming in to the meeting here. And of course, we're going to take your calls and comments for the next half hour. As you know, this is going to be the fastest post-game show that we do. And one of the things I want to say, Andy, welcome aboard. What'd you think?
Oh, great. I love this. This team is so different.
It truly is. And I mean, I love what I'm seeing so far because who would have thought that with Jack Eichel not playing right now, that we would be 3-0 on the season? Who would have thought that?
I honestly thought that they were going to lose this game playing a better team.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Let's recap a couple of the stats real quick. So, of course, tonight, Sabres win 5-2. Sabres end up leading shots on goal 43-34, 52-48 in favor of the Sabres for the faceoff percentage. Both teams are 0 for 3. Both had 6 penalty minutes. Sabres 14-10 leading in hits. Sabres 5 block shots, Canucks 10 block shots, and giveaways. The Sabres have to clean that up a little bit. They had 8 versus 4, but I mean, they did it again. They came back. So basically, what happened? First period, 5:57 of the first. Bo Horvat ends up getting on the board from Pearson and Garland. Kyle Okposo ends up coming back less than 3 minutes later. Gets the second goal.
Great shot.
That was a beaut.
He likes to score from that circle. He scores a lot of goals from that circle.
Yeah, and that's definitely been happening. I mean, it seems like this season without Jack Eichel, Kyle Okposo has just taken the leadership to a whole new level. He's like taking the team on his back. He's just getting it
done. They're all rallying around. They're playing. I've never seen them play like this in at least a good 4 years.
Yeah.
Cycling the puck well, maintaining the ozone, not giving up stupid plays. I mean, they're really cycling the puck around and making a lot of scoring chances. And I'm very happy how this team's coming along.
Yeah, same here. And that second goal, Jorgensen's and Dahlin get the assist, and Justin Dowling ends the period at 16:01, gets the goal from Shen and Miller to make it 2-1 in favor of the Canucks. But then the Sabres didn't really waste any time. Zemgus Jorgensen gets the second goal of the year from Okposo and Cousins at 17:37 in the second. But the goal that really stood out to me tonight, besides the Okposo goal, how about that backhand by Jeff Skinner, 3:33 of the second when he got the assist from Miller and Cousins? That was beautiful.
I couldn't believe he scored that. I looked and I was like, oh, if he got that in, like he was able to get that in from being down on one knee. That was beautiful. That's a highlight reel.
Yeah, absolutely. And then only about less than 20 full seconds later, Tage Thompson ends up taking one into the net, Butcher and Olofsson, and that was at 3:56. I mean, great shot also. And then Rasmus Asplund ends up getting the empty netter to close it out at 17:05. So this team is something different. And one of the things that it kind of reminds me of is the mid-1990s teams when a lot of people were calling Nolan's crew the lunch bucket guys. And actually, I'm using that here in some of the descriptions. I'm calling them a lunch bucket crew. These guys are actually working. They've got more speed than I've seen in God knows how long. And it seems like they're actually rallying and playing together versus Eichel when he was controlling the ship and couldn't do a damn thing.
Yeah, they were letting Eichel be the puck carrier. I mean, because he could do it. He can take the puck one end to the other and score. We've seen it happen plenty of times. But they're not relying on just one person doing that. They're all contributing. And certain players are taking that puck from end to end and being able to get that puck in and maintain it on the rush coming in. Guys like Brun, who I'm not a big fan of, but I mean, he's got the power to skate in and control the puck. Dahlin does, of course, and Hinostroza, all the faster players who can wheel and deal and possess the puck when they come in. So they're all, you're right, they're all coming to work and they're bringing their lunch with them and they're working hard.
Yeah, 100%. And I have to say, Granado's got them playing well right now. I mean, he's seems to have found what's working for them, and I mean, he's got the speed going on for them. I like the fact that they're not spending much time in their own defensive zone. I mean, they're basically controlling everything towards center ice and then the opposition end, and that's huge. So I mean, that's working out well. The passing is quick. They're being creative still. I mean, there's some sweet plays that they're making. I mean, Skinner again, I have to bring that up. I mean, that I don't think we would have seen that last year whatsoever. And then the other thing I'm noticing is that we are tending to hit more, but we're not. I mean, and one thing we do have to watch for is the giveaways. We do have to clean that up a bit, but it seems like we're not letting one or two plays completely kill us. It's just we're going out there and we're just chipping away, and chipping away. And it's one of those things. I mean, 3-0, I would have never, even on our other show, Buffalo After Dark, we talked about it before. I would have never thought that the Sabres would have been where they are right now. And I was predicting, I think I predicted only like 18 wins this season. And we're already 3 of the wins there. So I hope I'm wrong with that 18-win prediction. I think, Andy, didn't you predict like 20 maybe or somewhere around there?
Yeah, I said around 20.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'll gladly eat crow if I'm wrong on this one.
I don't care either. Let me be wrong. I don't care.
Yeah, 100%
I
right
want
on
to be
that.
wrong.
Yeah, I mean, this is like one of those cases I want to be wrong on this, because if we can crank out, let's say over an 80-game season, if we can crank out like 40 plus wins, then hell, we've got a shot.
Yeah, we sure do. But we'll see how it goes. See how they are playing on the road and see how those road stretches go and playing against better teams. I'm very shocked they beat Ashchenko in this lineup tonight. I know or Quinn Hughes wasn't in, but didn't really seem to be a factor anyway.
Right. And one of the better goaltenders that they've seen this season also with Demko. And I mean, we just controlled Vancouver with no issue on that. If anyone wants to get on the show, of course, we have your Facebook Live comments. And then also you can give us a call, 929-205-6099. Just use the meeting ID and passcode in the chat. That'll get you on to talk with both me and Andy. And we'll be on until about 10 o'clock. And of course, we want your thoughts and your opinions. And of course, if many of you guys have any questions, by all means, feel free. One of the things we're also going to do too is I'm just going to recap the NHL a little bit tonight. Tampa continues their slide. They lost 4-1 against the Panthers. Right now, the Devils are up 3-1 against Seattle, which is on the power play. Pittsburgh ends up losing 2-1 in a shootout against Dallas. Washington ended up beating Colorado 6-3. Detroit's up 1-0 with 13:22 left in the third. And then, of course, Chicago right now, 4:15 left in the second. They're losing 1-0 to the Islanders, which I know Bobby's going to be happy about that. LA Kings, Nashville, late game, 1-0 right now in favor of the Kings with 2:29 left in the second. Minnesota and Winnipeg tied at 3 with 3:01 left in the second. And Edmonton and Anaheim out in the West 2-2 with 3:26 left in the first. So I mean, full slate of games on tonight. But I gotta say, one of the surprise teams, and then we'll get back to the Sabres, Tampa. They are just brutal first few games of the season so far.
Yeah. Also, what is going on with the Canadians? The two teams that were in the Cup last year are not who we think they are. Just lost 5-0 to the Sharks.
Yeah,
the Sharks are not that good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and of course, the Habs. I mean, they don't have Carey Price right now, but Jake Allen and Montembeault are not playing well.
No, I mean they lost to Aiden Hill tonight. I mean, that is just terrible. What is going on?
Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine. And I mean,
when I saw that, I was shocked.
Yeah. But get this also, and this is like one of the things that just came out, the differential. Right now, the Sabres +8 for goal differential in games.
Wow, that's pretty good stat.
Yeah, Pittsburgh at +6 and Toronto at +1. And I mean, those are your top 3 teams right now. in the entire league. And I mean, I could have never thought that was going to happen. I mean, and even if you look at like the top 11, I mean, besides Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Toronto, I mean, you have the Rangers at 4, and they have a -2 differential. They have a 4-2 record rate. Well, actually, no, they have a 2-1 record right now. San Jose 2-0. St. Louis 2-0, and they have a +5 differential. San Jose's got +6. I mean, Carolina undefeated right now, 2-0. Minnesota 2-0. Columbus, same thing. Florida, same thing. Edmonton, same thing. Those are your top 11 teams right now. And I mean, but Buffalo right now, the +8 differential, that's absolute best in the league. And they're the only team right now that's completely undefeated with where they're at. I mean, the others were either overtime wins or basically had a couple losses, but I mean, Buffalo right now, the only team with 3 wins.
And sitting at the top of the entire league right now, who would have thought after 3 games? You probably won't be able to say that in April, but I could be wrong. I could be right, but right now it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, let's enjoy it. I mean, after that loss we had on Monday Night Football last night, it's nice to come back and get a win on the other side of things today. So I mean, it's just good to see this group working. And one of the other things I look at earlier in the offseason, and I know we were talking about our choice of coaches and so forth. I mean, that was one of those things where I personally did not think that Don Granato would be the choice long term, but he's proven us wrong. I mean, he's definitely proven me wrong, and he's winning me over. I mean, he just flat out has his team working every day. And that's one of those things. These guys are learning how to win. And as long as they can keep this type of effort all season long, I mean, the wins are going to come, obviously. I mean, there's going to be stretches where they go through some losses. I mean, every team has that every year. But if they can keep working like this, they could be, I have to say it, they could be a very dangerous team later on down the line.
Yeah, we'll see how things go. I mean, the way they're playing is very sound. I mean, they're playing pretty well at both ends. I mean, they've only given up 4 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, they're with Anderson and Tokarski. Who would have thought? At least right now. I mean, but it's nice to see, more guys get involved and getting on the score sheet like Skinner tonight. Hopefully he can get going.
Yeah, good to see him back on the board. I mean, Tage Thompson rocket shot earlier. And I mean, I definitely like that Okposo seems to embrace the new role. I mean, even though he's basically third line material, I mean, he's embraced it, and he's just showing the guys, hey, this is what we got to do. And he's putting in that work. And one of the things I kind of joked about last Wednesday night, and I almost have to say this again, it seems like Kyle Okposo finally, like after that eye injury and all that stuff he went through, it seems like he finally is back to where he needs to be.
Yeah, he's definitely showing it on the ice right now. Between him and Gergensons, they are playing so aggressive on the puck. They're moving it around so well. I mean, they're reaping the benefits right now, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Cody Eakin between the two, but I mean, they're producing. So how could you be mad?
Yeah. I mean, they're all working well on that line. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And Estroza has been a pretty nice addition to the team this year also. And just his play. And I mean, that's one thing I've noticed, especially going down low. I mean, that's another thing I've noticed also, in addition to what I just mentioned. It seems like the Sabres are not afraid this season to battle in the crease. It seems like they're going down low. They're hitting those spots. They're not afraid to battle for the puck, and they're not giving up the puck necessarily as easily as what they would have done last year. Now, of course, tonight, 8 giveaways. That's not something you necessarily want, but it seems like they're fighting for that possession a lot more than what they would have done last year, and they're controlling the possession a lot better. I almost have to say that Granato seems to have potentially done like McDermott did with the Bills. There's a different culture in that locker room this year. And I almost have to wonder, Jack Eichel being gone, it's like who misses him at this point?
No, absolutely. It's I don't know how you can explain it the way they're playing. If it's something connected to Jack, whether I've heard people say he was a cancer in a room, and I've heard rumors that he wasn't a good teammate by some. I mean, whether they're true or not, I don't know. As
Right.
you know right now, he's not in the locker room. He's not on the team technically, and he's away from this group. And it seems like it doesn't even matter. It just doesn't even matter. But I'm so curious as to what happened with this whole situation. And they're working hard on trying to get things done and finding a team will let them do the surgery and possibly trade. So we'll see what that comes and what that brings. And this whole saga can be done with, and we can stop talking about it.
Right, exactly. And one of the interesting things that kind of came out earlier within the last couple of days is that apparently the Avalanche tried to make an offer for Jack Eichel, but then they wanted the Sabres to return to basically retain salary for 5 years. I'm like, there is no way that's ever happening. It's like, good luck on that one. And Evan and basically Kevin Adams ended up hanging up the phone on the Avalanche. That's exactly what I would have done too. It's like, if you're taking my top player, you're giving me top return, and I'm not returning, or I'm not going to retain any salary. He's basically your problem child now.
Yeah, he's standing firm and he's standing pat as to what he wants in return, and he's not really gonna budge as to what he wants back. And I'm very happy to see my other favorite team, Colorado, actually make a pitch. It was actually kind of cool to see whether or not they have or are willing to give up the necessary pieces to obtain Jack is another issue. But yeah, definitely I wouldn't retain salary either. No, we're not doing that. Sorry. You're gonna have to find another way to come in your app.
Exactly. And then of course we'll go for a little bit longer yet. We still got about another like 10 or so minutes, 10, 15 minutes on here. But of course, if you guys want to get on, absolutely feel free. We're going to talk hockey. If you got any questions, certainly let us know. Of course, phone number to get on the air, 929-205-6099, as it always is. And then, of course, with people watching in the chat, I was going to say, of course, Scott Gelb, you've got your K-Gun report on our page. So, nice to see you on here. James Gately, same thing. Mr. Bubba Matt, jump on if you want to talk. I know you're watching the video. You liked it. Except your Seattle Kraken took a loss today.
Oh. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they're not doing so well. I thought they'd be doing a little bit better. They have.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, the way that they came out first couple games, I mean, I would have thought, they'd probably get at least a couple more wins in there. But I mean, still, I mean, it's early on for them. And to Luffy's point during the show, I mean, yeah, you got a good group of veterans, but at the same time, also you do have some younger established players that are coming in, and they'll find their groove. I mean, they're still going to play well for them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. Yeah. But I mean, we'll see how this goes Friday when they play Boston, and return Allmark and Allen Lazar coming to town.
That'll be an interesting matchup, actually. It's a good test. I mean, for this young team. And I mean, with Allmark likely getting the nod in net, I'm thinking Anderson's going to probably get the nod for the second game in a row. And I mean, even with Anderson, I mean, with all the stuff that we've seen with him the last few seasons, I mean, he's, I think, doing a better job than what I would have expected. I mean, he seems to be controlling the puck a little bit better than what I would have thought. I mean, it just seems like overall he's doing what we need him to do.
Yeah, I mean, you take the first goal that Vancouver scored. I mean, that was a pretty decent goal. The second goal that they scored on that tip, I mean, missed it by a little bit. I'm sure he probably thought it was going to go a little higher, but stayed low. And he just shut the house door on that one. Right after that goal. I mean, he made some pretty good saves too.
Yeah,
he made a really nice stop. on Brock Busser. So I mean, he's playing very well. I'm shocked. I didn't think he'd be playing like this as a
Yeah,
51-year-old goaltender.
right. I don't think any of us realistically thought about it either, because I know on our other show we were talking about Anderson, especially. I remember when we traded for him and signed him, and I still remember your reaction. You're like, "No, you didn't want him," and then of course right after that, then of course Dell ended up getting brought in, and then of course we cut him. But for a while we were thinking like literally like the worst goaltending duo that anyone could have brought in off of free agency, but Anderson's holding his own, and it seems like he's coming back a little bit to form from what he had a few seasons ago. So, I mean, they're doing that. But I also have to think at the same time, I mean, the lineup that we have right now, I mean, when we have our main offensive pairings, I mean, and of course defense, it seems like they're working well together, and they're giving Anderson some protection in the net, so he's not always having to worry about getting crushed like what we would have seen last year with Allmark.
Yeah, they are playing surprisingly good, and I think it's because they're taking away the area in front of Anderson. They're taking away a lot of the slot chances. I mean, they really only had slot goal from an opposing team, which was versus Phoenix. So they're really shutting it down at that end, as much as possible. And I'm really loving the play of Robert Haig. I mean, he's starting to lay the bodies
Yeah.
around. He's starting to make a bit of a statement back there, and that's good to see.
Yeah, he's been a very nice addition to this club this year. And I mean, he's just going in there and getting it done. I mean, it's like nothing flashy. It's just straight up, this is what I'm doing. This is what I do well. And this is what I'm going to do for this team. And I can't complain about that.
20 minutes of ice time. He had 6 hits, most hits by any Sabre, and basically both teams. So, and he's getting these hits. He's not getting any penalties out of it. They're not bad hits. I mean, he laid a couple people out to him. Kind of nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say too, like, wasn't one of them like a hip check earlier tonight too? Like right near Rob Ray on the bench?
Uh, if my memory serves correctly, I believe yes, it was.
Yeah, because even that, I mean, anytime you can get a good clean hit in there, I mean, hey, let's take it. That's one of those things we want to do, and it's just important. We got to play physical, which this team is starting to do. We didn't see any of that under Kruger, because it's like, oh well, we're afraid to hit. We cannot hit anymore because otherwise we may end up going down. And I'm like, Jesus, dude. It's like they were running away, like. It's like we're afraid of them, and it's like this year, totally different story. Well, once Granado took over, I mean, well, the fact that they're actually practicing 100% harder, but at the same time, I mean, they're just going out there and they're not afraid to hit people anymore. But I also think getting rid of half the team that we ended up getting rid of, I think, also helped.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he keeps this team motivated like they are right now, and keeping them hungry. And I don't want to be another Sean McDermott, but hungry and humble is
Right?
really a good recipe for what they got going on. And I wonder if we'll see Christian Wolaning get in the lineup sometime, maybe during this back-to-back games this weekend. I know that they're Boston's here Friday. We're going to New Jersey on Saturday. So I wonder if we'll see him possibly in one of those games, give somebody a rest.
Yeah, be interesting to get a look at him. I mean, especially now that we ended up getting him off waivers. So, I mean, anything's possible, but I certainly do think that, yeah, maybe we do get a look at him and see what he can do. I mean, worst case, I mean, if he doesn't do anything, I mean, we could always waive him, or we could look at possibly some type of minor deal. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, if they're still playing at this high of a level, with if anything, we see him be Saturday versus Jersey. But yeah, you can't look past Jersey because they're playing some good hockey too right now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and I mean, they've gotten off to a fairly good start also. And then one of the other things I'm looking forward to is now with the AHL, but of course, this past Sunday, the Amherst ended up getting blown out 6-2. So that was not a good night for them. And basically they're going to be coming up against the Thunder on Friday, so that's their next matchup. But yeah, they lost to Utica, so that was not a pretty game.
No, it was not. It was kind of disheartening to see. I haven't seen any video of it, so maybe later on tonight I'll try and see if I can find some video of that game. I mean, they don't usually show a lot. They usually show the goals, and that's about it. But I'll see what they got going on down there.
Yep.
It'd be nice to see how some of the players that we like down there, see how they're playing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, love the fact. I mean, they got Matty Pecker in the lineup, basically full time now. Jack Quinn, of course, on the right wing, so we'll get to see him quite a bit. And then Peterka, one of the other right wings down there, he's going to get some time down there. So, I mean, that'll same thing. Be interesting to see what they want to do. And Loxenen's going to get some time, of course, on the defense. But the other thing also is I want to see how Luukkonen comes back, because I mean, he got off to a rough start this season, even down in Rochester. And what I would love to do is see him play through it. And I mean, he's going to need all the ice time that he can get, obviously, because I mean, we know what Aaron Dell's capable of, and that's absolutely nothing. But I mean, he's got to play through it.
Yeah, we got to keep a close eye on UPL and check up on his progress to see how far he's come with his development, because it's going to be crucial by next year for him to be squared away, confident and ready to go, because who knows if Anderson will be back.
Very true. I mean, basically getting him on a 1-year deal. I mean, it's basically one of those prove it type deals. You either play well or you don't. And I mean, for this season, I mean, yeah, one more year in the AHL for UPL will be a great thing, I think. But I mean, next year, like you're saying, I think he's got to be ready to go.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is his time to shine. He's going to get every opportunity to play, and he needs to show up and show out every game he's in, because I mean, this could set us back a little bit if he's not ready to go. I mean, you can only hope and pray. I mean, if Anderson does have a decent year this year, that he would want to come back for another one, maybe. Who knows? I mean, who knows how he'll feel at the end of the year?
Right. I mean, we still have like 75 plus games to go. So, I mean, literally, that's the point we're at.
We'll find out then and there.
Yeah.
See how the card goes, backing up as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then one other thing we'll kind of talk about, before we throw some final thoughts in there, is we're pretty much at, I mean, literally this half hour goes by quick, but one of the big things that came out in the news, Vander Kane, 21 game suspension for a fake COVID vaccination card, and he ends up forfeiting a little over 1.6 million.
I don't know what it is with that guy. I don't know.
Nope, he still doesn't get it.
He's losing. He's I don't want to say his career is over yet, but it's starting to look that way.
Yeah, he's getting to that point. And I mean, granted, I liked a lot of stuff he did when he played with us here on the Sabres, but at the same time, he was a huge distraction in that locker room, and better off that he's with San Jose and the Sharks having to deal with that now. So it's one of those things. Sometimes guys never learn.
That is true. It's kind of funny that we brought him up, because now there was some rumblings with K9 on the roster that it frees up a good chunk of change, around $9 million. I think it was around $9 million.
Yeah, it's got to be right around there.
So I heard some Jack Eichel rumblings there about that, but hey, if they want to do a trade, I could have a couple of places from them, but they don't have many.
Yeah, I mean, deal's got to be right to do it. So that's really what it comes down to. But really, other than that, I mean, just I think we kind of recapped a little bit of everything tonight. Sabres get the win 5-2. Buffalo After Dark's going to be on tomorrow night around 8 o'clock. So, of course, we'll talk more about everything, not just the Sabres, but we'll recap the Bills. We'll recap some other stuff in the sports world. And, of course, your comments and questions are always welcome. But other than that, Sabres next game against Boston. So, that'll be a fun test to see what we can do. And great test for actually this young course. See what they're made of at this point. And before we get going, any last comments or any other things you want to throw in
there? For comments wise, I'm just happy with this team actually playing as a team. Last year with the 18 game skid that we were going through, that was probably the most upsetting time to be a Spurs fan, and just having that lunch pail type of group now is a great feeling to have, because it does show you don't need a superstar per se on your team to win games, but this team's done it before without an elite player on their team, and they've gotten to the playoffs without a player like that. So could we be in tune for something like that this year? Who knows? But it's exciting. It really is. I can't believe how they're playing right now. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very nice surprise how this year started out for them. And I mean, a lot of people, including us, we thought, well, hey, Eichel not being here was going to kill a lot of stuff for them. But it actually turned out to be the opposite. It actually allowed a lot of people to come up. It's getting the young kids a lot of playing time. They're proving that they can win. They want to win, and they're very hungry to do it. And they want to show, hey, all of us coming up from the Amherst and coming in from some other teams with some minor deals. It's nice to see it. So, great start to the season, 3-0. With the win against Vancouver tonight, which was 5-2. Of course, anyone that was watching, thanks for watching tonight. We're going to be back with Buffalo After Dark tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Of course, watch us on Facebook. It'll be up on YouTube afterwards. And then, of course, Andy Van Meer will be back with us tomorrow night. So, of course, thanks, buddy, for coming on. I appreciate it. And then in the meantime, that's after the horn for, it's after the horn for October 19th. 5-2 win against the Canucks. Take care of yourselves and each other, guys. We'll see you next time.
After the Horn is an H&H Studio production. Produced in association with Horns and Hooves Entertainment.